I'm Janice Banther. Today we're going to talk about a little bit of a hard subject, about what happens when there's something wrong with the baby. As a childbirth educator, that you find out later as a labor doula, and you're present there for it. It was difficult for me when I remember this, one of my first trainings I took many, many years ago. It was in Baltimore, and I was thinking about this, and it never had it happen to me yet, but I was worried about it. I was asking a lady who was standing in front of me. She'd been an L&D nurse forever, and I asked her, I says, what do you do if something happens that's wrong with the baby? There's something wrong, and no one knows until the baby's born. And I says, what do you do? And she says, well, what you want to do is you want to look for something that's very positive for the mother to look at. All she's doing is zeroing in on the part of the baby that's not perfect. And we know what every mom wants. When they're talking, I just want my baby to be healthy. I just want everything to be fine. And that's what every single mom's mind and partner's mind. So what do you do? I remember the first time I had something that was wrong with the baby. And the doctor was in the room. He was at a hospital birth. He was catching the baby. There was one, maybe two other nurses in the room, and me, and the partner. And baby's coming out, and I honestly could not believe when the doctor started saying this, because I thought, well, I'm just the doula. Surely these nurses who've had training for many, 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 many years, they'll know these answers. They'll know what to say. They'll know what to do. And the doctor will too. And the baby was born with just a partial of an ear lobe, but there really was not an ear at all. And baby comes out, and before he puts the baby on the mother's belly, he goes, well, look at that. Baby only has one ear. Yep. Well, let me see. Yep, look at that. This baby only has one ear. Well, what do you know? I've just never seen such like this. And he lays the baby on the mother's belly. The couple was Hispanic, and so their English was really, really good. But you could tell they weren't quite sure exactly what was going on. They're saying, what? What? And nobody was answering them. The nurses weren't. They were quiet, and the doctor just kept saying, yep, look at that. She has one on this side, big head of hair, lots of hair. Look at that. There's no hair on that side. And the couple was just, you could tell they were devastated. And I said, oh my goodness, look at that cutest little baby's nose. Look at her nose. I think she's got your nose. And I talked about, she did have a huge head of curly hair. It looked like it would be curled. It was so long. And it was curly. And I said, look at your baby's hair. It's just beautiful. And I just started commenting on things like that. Not ignoring the obvious. Not saying this isn't true. But to letting them know that your baby is still beautiful. And later on, much later on, they mentioned this to me. It took a while for them to put everything into perspective into their mind. And surgeries they knew they had to face, as they found out from pediatricians. Another case that I had go many, many years ahead, should have known a lot better. And I was going to be doing some postpartum work at the hospital for one of our inmates that we are doulas for at Birth Behind Bars. And the doula who was there for the birth had told me that the baby was born with a deformed leg, and explained it to me how it was. I knew her arrest had been for drugs. And the whole way there, I'm fully judging her. How can I be nice to her? Blah, 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 and I'm thinking this and this and this, and how dare her do this to her baby, and totally judging her. I get into the room, and she's crying. Baby was not in the room. Baby was in the nursery. The pediatrician was there, and at that hospital, like for the babies to go to the nursery for the pediatrician to see him. The pediatrician comes in the meantime, I'm talking to her, and I find out that before she knew she was pregnant, she was in a car accident, was in a coma for almost a month. So you can imagine, during that time of trauma of a month of being in a coma, how much medication she was given, and nobody knew she was pregnant. She didn't know she was pregnant. And the pediatrician came in, and she was crying so hard, and I felt horrible. I felt like a horrible person for what I'd been thinking about her, and just trying to talk about the positive things about her baby. Her baby had been brought back in, and then the doctor came in and explained to her, this is nothing you did with drugs. This was caused by trauma. A severe trauma, and explaining it was a car accident that caused this. When you have a baby that there isn't everything right, and you want everything to be right for your mom, and she wants everything to be right, a lot of times they're going to be looking to someone for help. It's going to be you, because they know their doctor fairly well. They just met the nurses. If it's a midwife, that's a different story. She knows them a lot better. But in most cases, they're going to be looking to you for answers. And it's hard to have those answers on the tip of your tongue and to know what to say. So if you can read books that help you understand what to do in problems with when there is something wrong with the baby, or I'm not even talking about a fetal demise or a stillborn. I'm talking about things that are wrong with the baby that's alive, what you can do, what you can say. I've had many other births like this, but those two really stood out in my mind as being the first one I've had and the very last one I've had over many of a decade's period. I hope that what I've said in telling you what I learned from my mistakes, and I learned from that wonderful nurse I talked to many years ago, don't know her name, but she gave me the words to say to that first mom I talked to about what to do, looking at the positive things about her child. And then learning from my mistakes of judging somebody when I had no reason to judge and should not have been judging her no matter what, whether she was an inmate, whether she had been taking drugs or what. It was not my place to judge her, and I was wrong. And I learned that from this birth. So I hope that the births that you attend, that when you do have these hard births that stay with you for days and nights that are hard for you to shake because you've been emotionally exhausted trying to help this couple. I hope that this has been a help to you in knowing what to do and how to help your couple find the best way of taking care of the problems with their baby. Hope to see you next time. If you have comments that you'd like to give us, please write them right below. It has a place for that. It has also all the information how to get in touch with me. Love to hear from you and ways of how you would help a mom and a couple where something was wrong with their baby. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.